Greetings, citizens. Hey you, hey friend, welcome back. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Brittany. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Hallowstein. This is my Halloween series for 2020 running all through the month of October. Yay! I'm so glad you could find me. I'm so happy we could meet here like this, and I would love it if you would join this brat pack by subscribing and ringing the bell, because I put out new videos every week, both beauty and true crime related, and I would love to hang out with you. Yes, you, specifically you right there. You just click right below, just subscribe, bell, ding, ding. Good stuff. Unlike my English right now, so if this is your first Hallowstein video, or if you haven't been here before, normally what we do on my channel here is a thing called morbid makeup, where I tell you a true crime story while doing a full face of beauty makeup. But since it's Halloween, I created Hallowstein. Bratterstein, Halloween, had a baby, wah, Hallowstein. And then what we're doing in this series is I'm going to be telling you a story that inspired a popular supernaturally charged horror movie that was, wait for it, based on a true story. Dun dun dun! And while I tell you the story, I'm going to be putting on some Halloween makeup that hopefully, if you are able to experience Halloween in this climate that we're currently living in, you could recreate these if you want to, or if you don't want to and you just want to watch, we can get into the story and let me tell you what today's story is going to be about. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the terrifying true story of the demonically possessed Raggedy Ann doll that inspired the movie Annabelle. And real quick, if you haven't seen Annabelle, I would suggest you watch it. It's a pretty decent horror movie. It's not my favorite, I'm not going to lie to you, but it is good. And if you're into demonic stuff and possession movies, spirits, all things creepy, it would be a pretty good watch. And it's especially cool because it's apparently and allegedly based on a true story, so I mean. So today we're going to be discussing the string of demonic activity, near-death experiences, and one death on record that have happened over the last 40-ish years that are supposedly connected to this possessed Raggedy Ann doll. So gather around my campfire, children, and let me tell you the terrifying true story of the demonically possessed Raggedy Ann doll. So, since the 1970s, the possessed Raggedy Ann doll, given the name Annabelle, has been housed inside a wood-framed glass cage bearing a white sign with the handwritten words that say, "Warning, positively do not open," underlined 3 times. This warning is, of course, to let all who come near to know to steer clear, because this shib is dangerous. In addition to the warning sign, the Lord's Prayer has also been etched permanently into the wood that encases the glass, and a man named Ed Warren says a prayer over the glass cage every once in a while to make sure to keep the rabid demons inside at bay. Ed Warren, you must remember him from all of our other Hallowstein videos, and if you don't recognize the name, that's because you are obviously not caught up, and I would highly recommend you do so because the other videos in this series have been very good, so you should go do that. But anyways, so for decades, Annabelle had been housed inside of the Warrens Occult Museum, which, side note, unfortunately is now closed, but when it was open, anyone with $75 and an appointment could go to the museum to see and learn about Annabelle. But now that the museum is closed, where is Annabelle, right? Rumor has it is that this year, in 2020 of all years, Annabelle has escaped. Please no, not in 2020, please. We will get into that shortly, but first we're gonna hop into our little handy dandy time machine and travel to the 1970s where our story begins. So, it's 1970 and it's a young nursing student named Donna's 28th birthday. She opens up her present, pulls back the paper, and sees a smiling face and a little triangle nose looking back at her. Her mother had given her a Raggedy Ann doll for her birthday. Now maybe the times have changed. I mean, the times have definitely changed, but for some reason a Raggedy Ann doll for a 28-year-old seems like such a weird gift. Anyone else? But anyways, I digress. Donna was happy with her gift and she brought it home to the apartment that she shared with another nursing student and proudly displayed it on the couch in the common area living room. As is common in most of these haunting situations, the spooky stuff started out small at first. The girls would leave the house for the day, setting the doll in the center of the couch as a nice display piece, as a Raggedy Ann doll is, I guess, in the 70s, I don't know. But they would come home and she'd be in like a slightly different position, and I'm sure they were kind of like, just laughed it off, like, oh, I guess we must have left her that way. We're going crazy. But as these things tend to do, things escalated and they realized that it wasn't as innocent as it may have seemed. So before, when they would leave, they'd come home and the doll would just be in like a slightly different position. Well, now they'd come home and she wouldn't be on the couch at all. So they'd just go looking for her. They're like, I know we left her there, because they're testing it at this point, right? Because they're like, this is kind of strange. So they'd start to look around and they would find the doll in Donna's room where the door had been closed. The doll would just be sitting there nicely in the center of her bed, arms crossed, real casual. Okay, sure. They even once found the doll standing propped up against the wall. No. That's enough, right? Like, that's when you go? That's when you get rid of this doll? No, of course not. Soon, when the girls would come home, they would start to find little notes around the house. These notes would be written on parchment paper, and they'd be in a child's handwriting, and they would just say, you know, cute little love notes, things like, help me. And this is already odd to find these notes. It was especially odd because it was written on parchment paper and the girls did not own parchment paper. So where did these notes come from? Where did you get the paper to write these notes? Annabelle? How'd you do this? I don't know. So enough had become enough at this point for Donna about a month into the whole creepy possession activity. She had gone to work. She came home, and when she came home and inspected the doll, she found what looked to be blood on the doll's hands and on the doll's chest, and she was just like, well, that's extremely concerning. And she went and searched her house and she didn't find blood anywhere, right? So rightfully terrified as she was, she contacted a psychic medium. Reasonable. Who else are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. So when the medium arrived and she did her little medium, you know, song and dance, she told the girls there was no need to worry. The spirit that was invading their house wasn't dangerous. It was just simply a sad and lost spirit of a little girl named Annabelle who had lived on the property long before they had. So long before Donna and her roommate's apartment had been built on this land, the psychic medium tells her. It had once been lush and tall, wonderful fields that this young girl Annabelle would frolic through. You know, after school, she'd run around and play back there. Well, one day, tragically, her lifeless body was found in the fields directly where the apartment building now stood, and this is where Annabelle had chosen to spend all of her time now. The spirit was restless and hanging out where she had last been alive, or where her body was found. So the girls, feeling bad about poor young Annabelle's wandering and lost spirit, and feeling comforted by the medium and telling them, hey, don't worry, it's just like a chill little girl, no big deal, they decided to give the spirit permission to possess the doll so that her spirit would not wander. It's not what you do, friend. Have you never seen a horror movie, Donna? Donna's friend? No? And of course, in doing this and inviting the spirit and speaking to the spirit, communicating, having a one-on-one, things escalated. So Donna's roommate had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend was there a lot, you know, spending the night, spending time with his girlfriend, and he didn't really like Annabelle, right? Well, one night, he woke up with debilitating sleep paralysis, only able to move his eyeballs. So he moved said eyeballs as he could, and when he looked down, he saw Annabelle at his feet. Oh, fuck that. Let me tell you that. We don't do that. We don't play these games, Annabelle. No. Anyways, the doll slowly slid up his legs, up his chest, and to his neck, where she proceeded to strangle him until he passed out. No. So he woke up the next morning, you know, told the girls what happened, and they were like, bro, don't worry, it was just a dream. But he was certain it wasn't a dream, and he was like, I've already been worried about how evil this doll is. This really happened. Because, you know, he knew Annabelle was evil. Annabelle, this is your badness level. It's unusually high for someone your size. Anyways, Annabelle must have either saw the boyfriend as a threat or just like didn't like him, because he was targeted by her again. Okay. One night he had been at the house when all of a sudden he started to hear rustling coming out of Donna's room, but Donna wasn't home. So thinking it was a burglar, he like tiptoed over to the door and he stood there and listened until he didn't hear any noise anymore. So once the noise stopped, he entered the room, he took a few steps in, and he sees Annabelle in the corner just laying there, right? So he takes a few steps towards her, and that's when he feels the hair on the back of his neck stand up. He could feel someone was behind him. I hate that feeling so much. Does anybody else, real quick, Does anyone else get that feeling every time they wash their hair and they close their eyes and have to rinse out the soap? Or did the grudge just ruin me? I don't know, but anytime I'm in the shower and I'm washing my hair and I close my eyes, I swear to God, somebody's there, and I quickly, you know, have to scramble to rinse all the soap out so I don't open my eyes and burn them, and then of course I open them and there's no one there. But anyways, moving on. So the boyfriend, feeling somebody behind him, quickly, you know, spun to see who or what was behind him. And there was nothing there, but he quickly feels a sharp pain in his abdomen, and he hunches over and he grabs his chest. When he pulled his hand away to be like, what the hell, what was that? It was covered in blood. So he ran out of the room to his girlfriend. He's like, girlfriend, troubles afoot, you know? And when she checked his chest, there were several claw marks ripped across his chest and a hashtag pattern that were bleeding and hot to the touch. That came out of nowhere. And what's weird about these phantom scratches is within 2 days, apparently they had completely healed and were gone. Interesting. So after this incident, Donna, who at this point, she's got to be shitting her pants, right? Like, how could you not be? Well, anyway, Donna, she gets Donna, she gets a hold of a priest and is like, yo, there's some stuff going on here. She explains it to him, and he gets her in touch with no other than Ed and Lorraine Warren. You know them, our good buddies, Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warren Files, episode 600. So, in hearing the girl's story, the Warrens determined that the girl's speaking with the demon by, you know, calling the medium and inviting the demon into the doll and giving the compassion to the spirit was a bad idea. Duh. The Warrens stated that demons don't possess inanimate objects. What they do is they use these objects to make it seem like there's a ghost so that they can gain your trust and open up a dialogue, get you comfortable, get you compliant so that they can later possess you. The Warrens knew that it wasn't the spirit of a young girl who was possessing the household and the doll, because God doesn't allow children to be ghosts and spirits and possess and haunt. Okay, sure, that makes as much sense as anything else. So it must be a demon pretending to be a child to get close to the girls. Why not? Makes sense. Sure. So, other reasons that the Warrens believed that this was a demon and not a little girl is because the spirit that was infesting their life was doing some very clear-cut demon bullshit. Okay, let me break this down for you. First, the teleportation of the doll. The doll moving from room to room, going inside closed doors, all that teleportation shit. Demon shit right there. 1 point for demon. Second, the materialization of the parchment notes, even though there was no parchment paper in the girl's house. 2 points for demon. And third, the scratch marks that appeared on the boyfriend's chest. Apparently, this is the mark of the beast. So this is 3 points for demon. The score, the win, all of it goes for demon. Demon. No good. Demonic possession in the house. Get the fuck out. So, the Warrens recommend that the priest who had contacted them should go to the house and perform an exorcism to bless the house and all the people inside of it from the possession. Donna then asked if Ed and Lorraine Warren would be interested in, you know, taking the doll off her hands. You know, like, you know, would you like to take it home? Would you like to get it the fuck out of my house? Which, good for you, Donna. Good move, Donna. You never see smart people in these stories. They're always doing dumb shit, but good for Donna on being like, can you take it though, please? And they did. So, the Warrens happily agree to take the doll. They drive on over, they pick the doll up, they put it in the car, buckle it up in the back seat, snug as a bug and a rug. They make the choice to stay off the freeways because they're like, demon, maybe they don't get some demon silly ideas in its little head. So they stayed on surface streets to, you know, not be going too fast in case the demon did get funny ideas. And the demon did get funny ideas. And you know what? The demon did get funny ideas. Allegedly. So, apparently, according to Ed and Lorraine, that several times during their drive home with the little Annabelle doll, the brakes in their car seemed to fail, them almost getting in several accidents. So Ed reached into his little bag and pulled out a vial of holy water, splashed it on Annabelle, you know, the power of Christ compels you, all that jazz, and apparently the brakes worked just fine after that and everything was back to normal. Once they got the doll home, they also had experiences with the doll being able to project itself to other rooms. They would lock it in an office and then they'd find it in their living room, stuff like that, just like Donna had experienced. So this is when the Warrens decided to place her inside of that spiffy little glass case with the sign and the prayer to keep her locked up forever, where supposedly she still is. Or is she? So, there was a rumor this year that little evil-ass Annabelle had escaped from her home where she was previously caged at the Occult Museum in Connecticut, but apparently this is untrue. Ed and Lorraine's son-in-law came out saying that it wasn't true, that Annabelle had not escaped. He took a little video of himself, and in the video he showed Annabelle in the background in her cage, so... Which I guess is good, right? I mean, we've gone through enough this year. Am I right? Can I get a high five on that? Can I get a hell yeah? But honestly, at this point, would you even be surprised if you learned that she had escaped? Like, okay, I could just see the headlines now, right? Okay, so here's us laying in our beds, scrolling on our phones. Next in line for 2020, the demonic Annabelle doll roams the streets, kicking ass and taking lives, and we're just like, oh shit. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Like, not even a blink. Barely a blip in our freaking minds because of the kind of year that we have had. But apparently it is good for mankind that she stayed locked up, because apparently even from within her cage, Annabelle can cause some damage. So apparently back when the museum was open, there was once a priest there hanging out, visiting, seeing all the creepy stuff. Sure. Well, while he was there, apparently he picked up the Annabelle doll, which, first off, did you not read the sign, homie? Hello? Anyways, he picked her up and he mocked her. He mocked the demon's powers, like, ooh, such a big, strong demon, you do so many bad things, you know. Well, Ed Warren was like, bro, don't do that, that thing's real dangerous, and he didn't believe him and he kept messing with it, okay? Well, apparently he should have listened to Ed, because on his way home, he got into a car crash, and he said that right before the accident, which almost killed him, by the way, he saw Annabelle in the rearview mirror in his backseat. You play too much, priest. Don't do that. Additionally, there's one reporting where the Warrens say Annabelle is actually responsible for someone's death. And I'm going to tell you about that right now. So, it has been said that there was once a man who visited the Occult Museum when it was still open, and while there, he was banging on the glass and taunting Annabelle. He was like, hey, come out here and scratch me like you did Donna's boyfriend. You remember Donna's boyfriend scratch, the hashtag, fast healing, mark of the beast, scratches on the chest. So the guy was like, come at me, come scratch me like you scratched that guy, right? Well, this guy and his girlfriend were asked to leave. They were there together. They were breaking the rules. You're not supposed to touch stuff, so they were asked to leave. Well, apparently on their drive home, they had been riding a motorcycle. They got in a motorcycle accident, and the man died. The girlfriend lived. She was in bad condition, but she lived, and she said that right before they got in their accident, they had been joking and laughing about how dumb the Annabelle doll was. Is it a little far-fetched that that's related? Maybe, but maybe not. You tell me. Real quick. I've never been on a motorcycle, but I would just like to know, isn't it too loud for you to be having a conversation? Because she says they were talking and taunting and laughing about the doll, but if you're going fast enough to get in an accident that kills you, would you be able to hear each other? Please let me know, because I actually don't know. Anyway, either way, weird and scary stuff. So anyways, guys, that is the story of the demonically possessed Raggedy Ann doll named Annabelle. It's pretty fantastical, right? I think it makes it less scary that it's a Raggedy Ann doll and not like the creepy porcelain doll that we see in the movie. But don't get me wrong. If I woke up in the night and a Raggedy Ann doll was down at my legs and started like sliding up my legs and onto my chest trying to choke me out, I would shit my pants, right? Like my poor husband would be very unhappy because I shit my pants. I would. It's definitely a cool story though. It makes me want to rewatch the movie because it's such a creepy thing to imagine being real. It also makes me want to rewatch Child's Play actually, which I believe is also based on a true story now that I think about it. I didn't include it in Hallowstein this year, but maybe next year, because I believe it is also based on a true story. But either way, the Annabelle story is definitely a creepy one. What do you guys think? Do you think it's real? Think it's too much? I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that it's Halloween and it's creepy season and this is fun, and I had fun looking into it and, you know, reading about it and learning about it, and I had fun doing this look, which this is the look, by the way. What do you guys think? I think it's so cute. I've always wanted to do corpse bride makeup and I've never done it. And you know, I think it came out pretty cute. I think I'm getting a little bit better with these paints. It only took to the third to last video for me to get good with them, but I think this is pretty cute. What do you guys think? Would you guys do this? Do you think I did a good job? Don't be mean. your mother raised you better than that. But anyways, guys, that completes this video. Please make sure to join the Brat Pack by ringing the bell and subscribing to my YouTube channel because I put out new videos every week. I'd love to hang out with you. And of course, please let me know down below what true crime case you'd like to see me cover once Halloween's over. I've already got a couple scripts lined up for as soon as it's over, but I'd love to know your suggestions because obviously you have great suggestions, great taste because you're here. And thank you for being here for my first ever Halloween series on YouTube. I've been on YouTube for 4 years and never done it. I hope you're enjoying it. I've been enjoying doing it. I have no idea if you're liking it because at the time that I'm filming this, it's still not October, so I haven't uploaded it yet. But next week I upload my first one, so I'm excited to see the feedback. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And I just want to thank you for being here when you could literally be anywhere else in the world. You're tight, this is tight, and I hope to see you in my next video.